So today we're going to be talking about section 2.5, which is on measures of position. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is something called fractiles. Okay, well, what are fractiles? Well, fractiles are when we take some sort of a number set and we break it up into different equal portions or partitions is what we call them. One of the most common ones is quartiles. We also talk about percentiles. That one's known quite a bit too. So quartiles is breaking our number set into 4 parts, right? And so if you think about it, we want to break it up into 4 different parts. And so we have 3 important values. We have Q1, Q2, and Q3. Q2 breaks our number set into 2 equal parts. So basically it's the median, right? It's the middle number. Then Q1 is the middle of the first set of numbers, and Q3 is the middle of the second set of numbers. And so then when you do that, when you have those 3 numbers, you have a lower, a middle, an upper middle, and then a farther part. So that's 4 equal parts, quartiles, right? So let's look at an example, and we'll point out those 3 important values right here, okay? So to do this, they give us 15 different nuclear power plant countries and how many nuclear power plants they have in each one. So to figure out this data, we have to first actually put our numbers into numerical order. So let's start with the smallest. That's 6. Then we have 7. Then we have 8. Then we have 11. And we have 15. Oop, forgot a 10 in there. 10, 11, 15. Then we have 17. Then we have 18. 18 again. 20. Oop, forgot 19. 19. Then we had 20. Okay, and then we have 31, 54, 59, and finally 104. And just to make sure, let's count to make sure we have 14 numbers, or 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 numbers. Perfect, okay? So we're going to break this up by first finding the middle number. Okay, so if there's 15 numbers, the middle number is going to be the 8th one from the left or 8th from the right. So we count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is Q2. That breaks my numbers into 2 parts. I have an upper area and a lower area. And so now to find Q1 and Q3, we're actually going to find the middle of those number sets. So we said that there are 7 numbers below. So we're going to count actually the 4th one in. 1, 2, 3, 4th one in. 10 is going to be my Q1. So now I have this first section right here, first, second. Now I'm going to break up the other half. So again, the 4th number in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 31 is Q3. And so now I have a 3rd section and a 4th section. So now we know for sure it's quartiles. It's broken up into 4 different parts. Okay, very good. So the next thing we can talk about is something called the interquartile range. And so what that does is it actually takes those values of Q3 and Q1, the quartiles that are the upper quartile and the lower quartile, those medians in the middle, and it actually finds the difference between them. So example 3 actually asks us to find the interquartile range of R's. So our IQR, interquartile range is what it stands for, is Q3 minus Q1. All right, and so our Q3 was 31 and our Q1 was 10. And so when we subtract those, we end up getting 21 as our interquartile range, which means that the median of the upper bound, median of the second bound is within 21, which is good. That's important values, okay? All right. Now, one of the reasons we create quartiles is so that we can draw what's called a box and whisker plot. And a box and whisker plot looks like this. We need 5 important values, okay? So the first of which is Q2, which is our median, Q3, which is the upper quartile, and Q1, which is the lower quartile, breaking up into 4 parts, okay? Then we take the lowest value, the minimum value, and we take the maximum value, and that's where our whiskers are formed, right? On a number line. And so from there, we box in the middle part. We box in our interquartile range, right? The middle box, and then we whisker the rest out. So let's do that for an example. So actually, we're going to do that for that last example that we did before. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a number line, right? Here's our number line. We'll start at 0. There's 5. There's 10. There's 15. There's 20. There's 25. There's 30. 35. Okay, and we're just going to do one of these guys all the way to 104 because that's actually the biggest, right? And so our important values. So the first thing we wanted to know is what is our Q2? Well, our Q2, let's talk about this. Let's talk about our 5 important values, actually. All right, let's talk about our minimum value. The smallest value back in that number set was 6. So the minimum was 6. Our Q1, when we found it, was going to be 10. Our Q2, when we found it, was going to be 18. Our Q3 was 31. 31. And then our maximum value, our biggest one, was 104. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my box and whisker plot using these information. Okay, so the first thing I do is I find Q2, which is 18. So I'm going to make a line right there at 18. All right, and then my Q1 was 10, and my Q3 was 31. So right there. All right, so here's our box. All we did is we just found Q1. So this is Q2 right here. This is Q1, and this is Q3 right here. Then we make our whiskers, plotting a point at the minimum maximum value. So the minimum value is 6. So here's this whisker. And then our maximum value is 104 right here. And so we end up getting this whole area. This is our interquartile range right here. That's the 21 values that most of it is within. And then we have our whiskers going out. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to continue talking about fractals and units of measure.